What's up everyone, welcome back. Jamie here today with Dylan. I'm going to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, which came out in 1984, written and directed by Wes Craven. And you know, classic film. What can you say about it?
Classic, yeah. No, I think that was the first time I've ever watched it.
You're joking, right?
No. But
I'm sure we've watched it together before.
I don't know, I don't remember, because I've always seen the ending of this film. I always thought it was in the second one.
Like I said, we'll go through a bit of it. I'm not going to like recap every bit of it because, you know,
it is a long start though, I do feel.
Yeah, I feel like the entire film's long, to be honest. Like, it did drag a little bit, especially towards the end.
But I thought you would have saw more of Freddy's face in this movie. You don't really see it as much as you think. Like, later on, he becomes a character. In this one,
one of my problems with this, like, obviously he's more scary in this, but when I watch a Freddy film, I want to see Freddy, don't I? You know.
Yeah.
He's more scary in this, which is good, and obviously later on in the other films, he's just, you know,
it's weird because there's a lot of the humor in this film that becomes magnified in the sequels.
True, but it's more dark humor in this.
Yeah, like the one where like he's cutting his fingers off. I'm like, wait, isn't that meant to be like the 8th or 9th one? Like, I always remember like this first one being like the serious horror film, and then later on it becomes comedic. Freddy was always the comedy gold he is.
Yeah, and that's part due to Robert Englund as well, because all my days. You can't replace. That's the problem with replacing Freddy. Like, it's nearly impossible.
It's like replacing fucking Bruce Campbell. You just
yeah,
can't
exactly.
do it.
No, like with Jason and Michael, it's way easier, but Fred, completely different thing. It starts on it with the he's making his glove in. This is before he gets burnt though, in it, and his hand's normal in the beginning.
I think this is like a.
It's a flashback, yeah. Because later on, a mum has the glove, doesn't she? So I'm guessing this was before they burned him. And I gotta say, the fucking soundtrack, I love it. It's so 80s, but the synth and oh my god.
And it was a really good opening, like horror, like that boiler room aspect of it.
Yeah, Tina's there, isn't she? And at first you think she's the main character, but nope, because she's the first girl we see.
And then it's that classic sort of like screeching of the claw.
It's setting up, like you said, the atmosphere of the boiler room, because there's a lot of the film takes place inside the boiler room.
Yeah. I think
like, you can tell he's just trying to scare her.
Yeah, but I think that's where he's getting his power from, because like in later films, that's where he sort of gets his power from the fear.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can tell, because otherwise he would just kill him straight away, wouldn't they? But it's a recurring.
But then again,
thing,
he's also a serial killer, so he likes the chase.
Yeah, true. He doesn't like it to be easy. And she wakes up and the top's ripped in it.
Yeah.
And that gives us the first sign, like, oh shit, something happens inside the dream. It's actually gonna affect you in real life. And we get the shot of the iconic song, don't we? 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, with the girls on the jump rope. I mean, that's basically Freddy's theme, really, isn't it? When you think about it. And then we get introduced to the other two characters. We've got Nancy, who's the main character.
Yeah.
And Glenn, played by Johnny Depp.
Boy, Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow.
So overrated, but we're not gonna. This is about Nightmare. But yeah, this is what like I said last night. They go over to Tina's house because she had a bad dream, but they're like about to finish high school. Like, what the fuck? They're not little kids.
Yeah,
like, come over, I had a bad dream.
I was talking about this. Never once did I invite you over when I've had a nightmare.
No,
it's like up at 2 in the morning. Jamie, I've had a nightmare. Come on over. Because one, no, we don't do that. And two, you never fucking answer your phone anyway. No matter what.
Oh yeah, true. But even anyone like what? I'm guessing the 17, 18, because Americans finish high school and later on.
I don't know how old they're meant to be playing, but the 21's playing probably teens.
Yeah, but they're definitely not. You know, they're not like 10 or 11. That's when you would do something like that, wouldn't you?
And
let's have a sleepover.
The fact that like this was like in the 80s, and they were able to have a boy stay over. 2 of them, in fact.
Yeah, the noise outside, don't he? And then what's his name? Rod gets introduced, who's sort of like the dickhead with the knife. But then he even makes the comment, don't he? Like, oh, we're gonna have an orgy or something like that. And like you said, it's 2 guys and 2 girls inside the house. But it still seems weird. Like, she's like, oh, stay over, like, in case, don't leave me alone with a psycho. And then he grabs the bar of fucking drug and takes her in. And it's like, why would you still stay there at this point?
Yeah.
And then obviously Tina has another nightmare. And at the same time, Nancy's about to fall asleep, and she and Freddy comes through. You get the iconic fucking scene of him coming through the wall, which, you know, like you said, why use CGI? Like, why CGI that?
But from what I know, like, that was a practical effect. Like, they had some latex.
Exactly, yeah.
And it was really well done.
But there's quite a lot of those visuals inside this film, and they were like stand out and shit like that. It's definitely got quite a few. She goes to the street, doesn't she? And we get when he's got the stretched arms.
Yeah.
And she's like, as soon as she says something about God, he goes, no, this is God. And that's when he starts cutting his fingers off as well, isn't it?
No, he just like, he puts his hand to his face like, this is God. Like,
oh yeah, this is God.
And then later but they did a really good effect here where he comes out of the tree out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, he just steps out, doesn't he? Yeah, that
was
good.
really well done. I can't focus on that scene for a minute because I knew it was coming up and I couldn't tell. how they did it. Like I know how they did it, but you couldn't really see. Like,
No, you couldn't see. It was good, especially for the 80s as well. But yeah, then like you said, we get to that point, don't we? Tina gets lifted up and Rod's inside the room and she just smacks him. Well, she doesn't smack him, a body smacks him and he goes flying back. And this is another good effects for the 80s, like no CGI here, man. Like she goes up the wall, doesn't she, like onto the roof, and he's just watching blood everywhere.
This inspired that scene, Scary Movie 2.
And then we get introduced to Nancy's dad, who plays a part in number 3 as well. He's a cop in there. And they arrest Rod, because obviously he's inside the room full of blood, and he's saying it was
he's not. He runs away.
Guy. Oh yeah, he runs away. That's it. But they do eventually arrest him. But he's suspect number 1 in it because he was with her, full of her blood, and like saying someone else did it.
Well.
Oh yeah, I got a knife as well. And Nancy's at school and she sees Tina inside the body bag, which is another. I mean, that scared me as a kid. And she gets dragged by an invisible thing down the corridor, and then they go down to the boiler room, which is I forgot. Did he say that he worked at the school?
No, but I think it's because that's where his glove is hidden.
But I thought her mum had the glove.
Yeah, but I mean, because it's hidden in her house boiler. But I think, but they ran him down to some old boiler room, didn't they?
Oh yeah, but then again, she is dreaming, so she could step into different locations and shit. But the score down here was really good as well. I enjoyed the score. Ends up burning her arm, and that wakes her up, and she realizes her arm's actually burnt as well. So that starts making her ideas go inside her head, because Nancy's actually smart, and we find out later on that she's going to take action.
Was it you or Georgia last night? You said, "What is it in West Craven films with teachers?"
Oh yeah, with Georgia said it. Yeah, because we watched Scream the other night, and the principal does it with Cindy as well. He puts his hand on her and stuff like that. It does seem a little very touchy. It's like if the teacher grabbed you by the face, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" Wouldn't you? You'd be like, "Why are you grabbing me by the face?"
Bro.
Another scene as well, like I said, it's filled with them. Nancy's had the bath and she's fallen asleep. And you get Freddy's glove slowly coming up.
Yeah.
And then he tries dragging her under, doesn't she? But she fights him off. But then after that, she's in bed, and she watching Evil Dead on the TV. And then Glenn climbs through a window just like fucking Billy does in Scream. The similarities is
at that moment I went, he's the fucking killer.
He's the killer. He's Freddy. She's like, "Wake me up," and I'm gonna go inside the dream and grab him out. She goes to the jail, doesn't she? She sees Rod in there. But then she starts running back. And like the stairs start fucking up, and shit, and her alarm wakes her up because he fell asleep. He falls asleep a lot. Yeah, he's not reliable.
I want to mention like the whatever they were doing on the stairs, that was a really cool effect.
But then Rod's killed by a hanging, and Freddy like gets the bed sheets, doesn't he, and then wraps him around the top of the cell.
But like he literally break down that door as he's like getting choked, so it's barely enough time for him to die.
Yeah, I thought his neck was broke, but they don't actually say that, did they? But I mean, that would make sense.
No, think about it. The more it looks like he broke his neck.
But they wouldn't know that. They would just assume it was a hanging, wouldn't they? And then she started at the funeral the next day. She describes Freddy, and you can tell the parents recognise what she's saying. Because, there's a little bit of a cover-up going on here.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not much.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of, vigilante murder cover-up. That's all.
And then they take her to the sleep clinic, don't they, and start, analysing the levels of sleep and shit.
Yeah, and talking about how, she's going to be going into, light sleep, deep sleep, and she's in her REM sleep or whatever.
It's not a bad scene, and she wakes up, she's got fucking white strand of hair, and she's pulled out Freddy's fedora, and she's also got a slash on her arm as well.
Yeah, but this scene I don't understand is always like, where'd she get it from? Bitch, did you not go with her to this clinic?
I know, what the fuck? But she's an alcoholic though, isn't she, so...
Yeah, which you don't find out until the next scene.
And Nancy and Glenn go to a bridge, which he's got a burger with him. I won't go to a bridge to eat. I don't understand that. Is it just because of the shot? It's like, oh, this will look good. Let's
he's just hungry, isn't he? He's just eating. I'd
be like, yo, Nancy, all you're doing is reading this booby trap book. Let's go to a bench.
You know what I mean? He's just walking around. He just wants to eat his burger.
What if it starts getting windy and your food falls into the wall?
Listen here, son. I don't know the weather patterns of this country that they're in.
She actually gets back home from that, doesn't she? And her mum's barricaded all the windows and shit.
Yeah, but before that, they have that argument where she blatantly says she has the alcohol.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
Then we get the
she smashes the bottle as well, doesn't she?
And this is when we get the glove scene, isn't it?
Yeah, when she takes her downstairs and she explains that Freddy was a child murderer. Yeah. There is a difference, even though it's still bad.
Yeah, but why would she keep the glove?
I know, yeah, what the fuck? It's when people get haunted and they've got the possessed thing. It's
why do you want that glove? Oh, to make sure you're But he did. You don't need the glove. He don't need the glove.
But yeah, he got off the sentence, didn't he? Because what was it? The search warrant was.
Someone didn't sign it properly.
Yeah, and then they decided
this meant that if they caught him, they had evidence. It went to court. It was big news.
He got off.
Yeah.
They hunt him down, don't they, and burn him.
Yeah, this is where he said that it was an old abandoned boiler roomy kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Even with the remake, if they did that twist in a remake where he was actually innocent and then they killed him and shit.
That would have made
would've
that film a lot better.
True. But with this one as well, that's Freddy's motive, and he's coming back to kill. And what did you say? What happens when all the kids are dead? Like,
yeah, like when he's killed all the kids, like those kids were gonna make more kids, so now all the kids are dead. What are you gonna do now, son?
I guess he just kills whoever's on Elm Street. But yeah, she has the plan, doesn't she, to go inside the dream and pull Freddy out. Glenn falls asleep again, of course, and then she rips the phone out in anger, doesn't she? And it starts ringing. When it's ripped out, she pulls it. It's like, I'm your boyfriend now, and that's it. And you get the tongue coming out.
I think Johnny Depp got like I think one of the most brutal kills in this.
True. What do you say? There's that how much blood in a human body?
Yeah, like there's not that much.
It's just like shooting fucking up.
Like if you're a parent and you walk into your child's room and their bed is just spewing out that much blood, you're not gonna be like, nope, on the priest, this house is haunted. At that point, you're like, that bitch across the road is true. She's telling the truth. Krueger's alive.
Yeah,
Let's do
true.
something.
Don't
Everyone's
even
like,
make a mention that the coroner's there and he's inside the bathroom throwing
like, you
up.
don't need a bag. You don't need a bag. You need a pair with a mop.
And then she booby traps the house as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, with her mum like dead, passed out.
Because she drinks a lot, and it's only like 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
she's been
she
drinking all
literally
day.
starts drinking towards the end of the movie because it's like what's going on. Oh shit, her mum's an alcoholic. I gotta write those scenes in.
Maybe that's just how the night goes though. Like during the day
Yeah.
she's functioning, and then at night, she puts the sledgehammer at the door, doesn't she? Don't she get the shotgun shells as well and put them in the light bulb or something?
Yeah, but I think that's downstairs. That's like
Yeah,
downstairs.
yeah. I'm just thinking of like all the stuff that she sets up, just like
Yeah,
3 or
yeah.
4 different things, and
She sets up like a gas of a light, some sort of burner downstairs in the basement.
and the stunt guy. I remember watching the behind the scenes shit. Like that was one of the longest ones because when she sets Freddy on fire, he's just like running about and going up the stairs and shit. He put a few pounds on his head that scene.
No, I didn't notice that. You can tell like his face couldn't move as well. And in this scene, I don't understand. It's a dad comes in. And
Yeah, you got the 5 footsteps leading upstairs, and
yeah, but I'm like, how did he bypass them and then they not see? Like, I get it, he might have like waited in the kitchen to them go down. I'm like, but then there would have been a trail of fire leading out of there.
That's what I mean. But it's up for debate. Maybe this whole thing is a dream at this point.
Yeah, but then I'm like, why is he going up after the mum? I get it, she's got his glove and she's one of the parents. It's after the kids. Like his main motive is the kids.
Maybe just to hurt Nancy, I guess.
I'm guessing like he can't go after adults. He has to only go after children.
But then what? He's on top of her and he's at the bed, and then they come up and she just turns into like a corpse and just floats through the bed and it disappears.
The dad's there. He's saying, "Oh, nothing's happened" and all that, and then he goes. He leaves her in that room. She wants to stay in it alone.
No, she says, "Yeah, give me a minute, I'll be okay." Because he obviously don't know what to say, does he? And the guy's laying outside. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, just go downstairs. I'll be there in a minute." And Freddy comes back behind her, and then what she says, like, "Oh, you don't have power anymore. I'm not afraid of you."
I take away all the fear I gave you, and I want my mum back and my friends back.
And he
They're
just
like,
vanishes. She steps outside, it's all daylight, it's all nice, her mum's back. Everyone pulls up beside the car.
Yeah, but I always thought like this scene was in like a sequel because it sets up a sequel.
I think they filmed like 3 or 4 different endings and they kept arguing like which one to use. But I think the one you're thinking of is number 2 because it's similar with the bus. And like Freddy's driving the bus and like they can't get out and shit and he drives them away. Which is very similar to this one, innit? Because the hood comes down on the car and it's Freddy's jumpers.
I definitely know it's this one because I remember the hood because I remember watching it as a kid. Seeing the hood in different colours. Going, oh, that's Freddy's jumpers. Like, oh man, he's still alive. This motherfucker ain't gonna die.
We gotta mention the mum getting dragged through the door and then it switches to the dummet. It just gets pulled through the hole.
That was a pretty cool effect, but until you can notice it.
Yeah, but it's still a good effect, and that's how the film ends. Overall rating, what are you gonna give it out of 10?
I'll give it like a solid 6. It drags quite a bit in the beginning.
True, it does. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Like, the first one obviously sets up the franchise. What I said, it drags a little bit. Some of the acting's a little, yeah. And like, I prefer Freddy films to have Freddy like being funny. Some people are like, oh, I want him scary, but we watch it for Freddy eventually.
What is scarier than a serial killer who's making jokes?
True, and inside your dreams as well. Like you can't escape, really, can you? You have to go to sleep, really. You can't stay awake forever. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out Dylan's social links down below. Until next time, peace out in a bit.